Pick up your Waterloo Sawsbucks t-shirts, tanks, hoodies, and bags today. Link is under the screen and in the description below. What's up, guys? This is Sin and I'm back here with another NPA match. This is week number 8 in Season 3. And today the Tampa Bay Luxrays are invading Waterloo to take on the Sawsbucks. And if you guys are excited for today's video, make sure you guys drop a like. And this is what my team on the left is looking like over there. We brought Mimikyu, Hydreigon, Milotic, Chandelure, Magnezone, and Tapu Bulu. And above me, TheXseption brought over the Deontay, Latias, Mega Absol, Arachnoid, Darmanitan, and Ducky Z, otherwise or aka Porygon Z. I like to call it Ducky Z. But this is all post commentary. All matches will be like this for the rest of the NPA season. Until I get everything settled back in and we get everything taken care of at the new house that I'm going to be moving into. So let's get underway. So this was a really good battle. We're trying to get our second win of the season, and you know, we're trying to make some noise. At least try and show improvement. Try and not make myself look like a slob. He's going to send out Latias first, and this was kind of an interesting play. I'm like, ooh, because I started off with Mimikyu, and that automatically put it in my favor to force him to switch out and make myself set up with Swords Dance. That's what I'm automatically going to do, is do that. So I went for the Swords Dance to try and get that nice, you know, double stat up, and I still had Disguise up, so that gave me the opportunity to at least land a couple big hits, you know what I mean? So it sounds like a risk, but considering that, you know, Mimikyu is not that bad at speed, this does over 60% damage. I do take a little bit of Life Orb damage, which is okay. But he goes for the Diamond Storm, which is a little, you know, it's a good play on his part. If the Disguise wasn't up, it would have done him about 71%. But I made the good play here. I wanted to stay in. I'm faster than Deontay. I go for another Play Rough, and that takes care of Deontay, giving me an early 6-5 advantage. So that sets the tone. I wanted to set the tone early and try and make this as good as possible. So he sends in Darmanitan, so I'm thinking to myself, I have to get out of here. Darmanitan could have Flare Blitz, it could kill me instantly, so I send in Milotic. Milotic can do some good you know, some good moves as well, but he goes for the U-turn, so automatically getting out of there. So if he went for the U-turn, it wouldn't have killed Milotic, so I would have been alright, but I was scared of that Flare Blitz. So he sends back in Milotic, Latias, and I have Ice Beam, so he withdraws, thinking that, you know, he wanted to poison me. That was his intent. His intent was to poison me. So he probably had a different intent. He probably has to think, okay, now I have nothing because now I gotta get out of here. And I go, I was oblivious to this fact, but Water Bubble does prevent burn, so I was, you know, trying to make the best play possible and try and get it to burn, but I didn't realize that it can't get burned. So that was a bad play on my part. So I learned that from this battle, although I didn't learn it till later on in the battle. So I'm like, why isn't this thing getting burned? I'm like, oh wait, I did a research mid-battle and realized, oh crap, I can't do that. So I send in Magnezone. Magnezone outspeeds it somehow. I was blown away about how slow this thing is. I was really blown away. But he goes for Liquidation, does some good amount of damage. Originally it had it on this calc to do more than enough, but or more than that, so I just like, okay, that works. So he sends in Latias. I'm gonna go for a T-Bolt, thinking, you know, either or, whoever he sends in, I'm good, because he didn't have a ground type Pokemon or an attack this week, so that gave Magnezone free range to do just about anything. That's why I ran Choice Specs on it. So he goes for the Surf, and Mimikyu's he's gonna live this, considering that Mimikyu does have some pretty good special defense. But I am doing more. I am in more of the advantage with Mimikyu in there than Latias. But he sends in Darmanitan, and Darmanitan is going to take some pretty good damage from this. You know, it's not a bad hit. It's about 40%, 35-40%. So I still have to withdraw, obviously. But we go back into Milotic, and Milotic's pretty much going to take another U-turn, which is going to do very minimal damage. Probably, you know, it's alright damage, nothing to be too concerned about. So he goes into Doom V2 as Mega Absol, so he has to Mega Evolve this turn. But what he doesn't realize is that I think he said he misgenned it. I'm not 100% sure. I talked to him after the match, but I go into Tapu Bulu, and this kind of threw me off a little bit. I knew Tapu Bulu had the advantage from the get-go, because there was nothing that he could have done that would have taken some serious damage on me. But he goes for the Mega Evolution. Mega Absol is now available for him to use, and what really threw me off was this Thunderbolt. I didn't know. I understood, like, Mega Absol does have a good special attack, but it's meant for physical, and it threw me off a little bit. Like, okay, I mean, but he explained it afterwards. He wanted it for the Milotic, but I played him well there. He goes for the Hidden Power. I think that's a Hidden Power Ground, but I do go for the Horn Leech, which OHKOs, because Mega Absol's defenses are complete doo-doo. So, yeah, it's doo-doo. Sorry. But he automatically gets one-hit KO'd. And here comes Ducky Z. And Porygon Z can put in the finest of work with Download. And Download is a nasty ability. This caught me off guard, I will admit. And I didn't think it would OHKO. It said on the calcs it was going to do max 71%. I misplayed, and it ends up OHKOing. And now this play right here too, I thought, like, okay, I didn't think Download at the time. I was like, okay, maybe he just got lucky. I didn't realize that it could do that much. So I send out Chandelure for a Flamethrower. Flamethrower does a good amount of damage, about 75%. But then he goes for the Shadow Ball, and it OHKOs Chandelure too. So now we're back up to the playing field. So I wasn't realizing this was a Download. I didn't realize that this was a Download Porygon Z. So I have to pretty much, I wasn't panicking. I was thinking about, I was about to, if I was about to lose Hydreigon. That's why I sent out Hydreigon, because I knew even with Ice Beam, I still outsped it with my Scarf. So that came in handy. Even though I don't think the Scarf was needed. I don't think the Scarf was needed, even though it helped. It helped later on in the battle. But there's a reason why I had it on Scarf to begin with. But we had to switch out, and we had to go into Magnezone, because I felt like Magnezone was still the better matchup for Arachnoid. But at the same time, it wasn't really the best play here, because we go down all the way to, like, a very minimal percentage to not take any more hits. Then he sends out Blinky, his Latias. I go for another T-Bolt, and T-Bolt does good damage. Like, don't get me wrong, it does fairly good damage. For having it not be very effective. So we're gonna switch. He's gonna switch out again to my Milotic, or I'm gonna switch out to my Milotic. And my Milotic here, it's gonna play huge. It may not look like it's gonna do a whole lot throughout the rest of the battle, but it does serve a purpose. Trust me on this. I think this honestly was one of the turning points of the match. So up 4-3, you know, and we're at turn 20. This is only turn 20. So he goes into Skeeter, his Arachnoid, and I'm gonna go for the Ice Beam. Like, okay, I wasn't predicting a switch, but he is faster than me, so he probably could have gotten a good amount of damage off on me if he would have stayed in with a Latias, but he didn't. So I go Recover, thinking that, okay, we're gonna just try and stall him out a little bit. That was my intent. My intent was to stall. I know it's not the most popular opinion to stall, but in this situation, I felt like it was needed. I had to stall to try and buy me some time and try and get this dastardly thing down on HP just a little bit at a time. I was actually trying to sack off my Milotic, honestly, but I just wanted to try and make it last as long as I could, you know what I mean? Make him earn this kill. Wasn't going to let him just kill it, you know? Wasn't going to just let him have it. So we're at turn 23 right now, and this is where it gets a little bit stally. I wish I could just fast forward it just a little bit, but this is honestly kind of important, because we're just taking him down little by little. He's going for all these liquidations, and they're not doing very much, which is fine. You know, I'm totally okay with that, and I'm burnt, so my defense is going up because I have Marvel Scale. So taking all these turns out, you know, and doing all this damage a little bit at a time, it's gonna wear him down a little bit, right? I mean, it's gonna take obviously more than 10. I think it's only doing like 8%, something like that. But we're only down to half damage now. But my defense drops, and that's not a big cause of concern for me just yet, but it can be. So we go for another Recover. I probably should have waited another turn, honestly. But I mean, the grass is always greener on the other side, so we got to keep up with the pace. We got to keep up what we're doing right here. I know we're not going to get a burn, but it does do the most damage of all the moves I have on it. So we got to keep going with it here. We got to keep going Scald. It does the most damage, and I was just, honestly, I was just waiting for it to be killed, honestly. But like I said before, we got to earn that. He's going to earn that kill, whether it pains me to watch it or not. It's going to be a slow, painful death for my low tick. Because I wanted that easy switch in, you know. I felt like if I kept, Hydreigon and Magnezone alive with what he has left, at this point he had Arachnoid, Latias, and Darmanitan. So I felt like if I kept Zone and we still have Mimikyu as well, so it's still 4-3. I could easily have just timer stalled, and that's why at this point in the match we're still, you know, a ways away from, you know, having that happen. But I mean, we honestly got kind of close to a timer stall, but we played it out like gentlemen, and you know, we settled it out. So I don't like timer stalling. I don't like stalling, period. I think, you know, it's only needed if necessary, and this time I felt like it was. So we're at only turn, I think this is coming up turn 30, and yeah, turn 30, and I go for another recover because, again, I'm trying to make him earn that kill. Now granted, he still has Leech Life and he can still get HP from me, but he's not using it, which is weird because, again, it's just, I don't know. I don't know why he just didn't go for Leech Life. It would have done more damage than Scald, especially since I'm already burned. It doesn't really make much sense to me, now that I look at it. But again, I can't. We can always say things we can always do things in battle, but then we look at it and we think differently, and we're like, oh man, if I would have made this play, I would have won, or something like that. I don't know. Like I said, the grass is always greener on the other side. So, and and pending the result of this match, you could always look at what could have I done better, what could have Exception done better, and it's just one of those things where you just never know. So he's gonna go for Leech Life here. And we're finally starting to break the ice just a little bit. You know, we're finally starting to dwindle down on HP. Now we're at turn 33, and we're still stalling out. But we are making progress here. I mean, if you look at the HP bar for Arachnoid, it is going down just a little. But it's one of those things. It's like, we're really just stalling this one out. And, you know, does it look bad? Yes. But it does serve at least some purpose, in my opinion. I go for an Ice Beam thinking I could try and get maybe a Freeze Hacks. That's honestly, I was trying to go for some sort of hacks. But Ice Beam is only a 10% chance, so the chances of that actually happening are very, very slim. So, you know, we'll take what we can get at this point. We're trying to just dwindle down HP. We go for another Scald, trying to do damage, at least a little bit. And like I said, this is an all-out stall war. And I think that's what both of our intents were, because if he wanted to, he could have easily switched into something else, and he could have switched into Darmanitan or Latias, but we decided to stay in, both of us, and we just kept going at it. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit at a time. I keep going. I went for another Freeze Hacks, but Arachnoid just dwindling me down, and again, turn 37 coming up, I go for yet another recover, and you guys are just probably sitting there like, oh my god, he did it again. But honestly, like, yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I'm trying to win a match, and this is the best way I see how it's gonna work out. So I apologize if this is not your cup of tea. I honestly, I don't like doing this either, but this is like the only chance I had of winning. And granted, I've been learning and I've been getting better over the past couple weeks, so this is one of those things where it's growing pains for me. So we just gotta take it one step at a time. So we go for another Ice Beam at turn 39. We'll go for Ice Beam, and we got it just at about 50%, just over 50%. I would have to say just a little bit over, but we're at a breaking point here. One of us is we're both at a breaking point here. Like, something's got to give. So what do? I'm trying to make it break. I go for another recover. And granted, this is only going to get me to 122 HP, or 123 HP, but he goes for Leech Life, understandably so. He wants to recover HP. I totally get that. We're both trying to win a match here. You know, he's contending for the playoffs. I'm trying to play spoiler, and we're just trying to break each other here in a way, because I'm not saying I'm tired of, I am tired of losing, but you know, people have, at least people have started to notice that, hey, I'm not just some pushover anymore, you know. And I hope that comes across as like, I'm not trying to push that across as a bad thing, but I really am tired of being looked at as a pushover, and me putting in all the time and effort to try and make this stuff happen, to try and get myself some wins, is definitely showing some improvement on my end. So I'm not saying I'm going to be the greatest player ever, but my skill set has, I want to get to the point where I can at least give people a good match, you know. Because ultimately at the end of the day, this league is for fun. It's just we're all trying to have some fun and in this YouTube thing, and you know, this is one of those things where I was just trying to, you know, win a game but also have fun. But I know this isn't really the most fun match to watch, but I was just doing my best to win, and if this is the way I gotta do it, this is the way I gotta do it. But I did get another D drop, so I'm now -2 in defense. So I go for protect, just so he could waste HP. I honestly said to myself in this battle, I'm gonna make him waste PP. Not HP, but PP. I said PP before, like, the first time, but it's PP on his liquidation or any of the moves he had, because I'm thinking to myself, he's got to get to a point where he's got to be at a struggle point or whatever. But that really all depends on, you know, how much did he actually have, how much liquidation did he have. I'm not sure, because he was making some plays that, you know, that kind of questioned me a little bit, but who knows, but he does go for another ice. I go for another ice or scald, but it doesn't do much, obviously. It's gonna do very minimal HP. But we're almost to that breaking point here where I'm at 38 HP. Now with the burn, I'm down to 26. So I think this is pretty much it. So it looks like it's not Doomsday yet, but he goes for another liquidation. He's gonna finish off my Milotic after almost 30 turns of this. 30 turns of Milotic versus Arachnoid. That was unbelievably amazing. One heck of a match. Like, and then I go into Magnezone, he withdraws. So I'm thinking to myself, alright, now I got Volt Switch in my favor. He goes into Blinky. I do have 2 Pokemon left. He does have, I have 3, it's 3 on 3 at this point. I go for the Volt Switch, and then I automatically go into my Mimikyu, because I still have, or Hydreigon, because Hydreigon, Dark Pulse is everything, or Draco Meteor is everything to death. So my thought process is, okay, just, you know, click Dark Pulse, hope for a good hit. But we go for Dark Pulse. It does a good amount of damage, at least more than we've seen so far, but I do have to withdraw, and so I have to pretty much sack off Mimikyu at this point, because I have to keep Zone alive. Zone is the reason why we're going to win this match. I did not want to sack off Zone because of the fact that Zone is the only thing that can hit that Arachnoid hard. So we send in Magnezone. Magnezone at 27 HP comes back in. I go for another Volt Switch, but he withdraws again. Smart play on his end, but with Latias being at such low HP, this is gonna kill it. Magnezone will get the kill, and it's down to 2 on 2. So it was 3 on 2 in his advantage, but now it's down to a 2 on 2. But I go back into Hydreigon. Best play I could probably do right here, because he's got 2 Pokemon. One's Darmanitan, one is that Arachnoid. So I'm going for the Jugular. I am going for Draco Meteor, and this will kill the Darmanitan. So now it's 2v1. Darmanitan's not living this. I'm sorry. It just won't. I will take that special attack drop all day. So we go back. He goes back into Arachnoid. It's 2v1, and I'm thinking to myself, wait, he could try and I'm scarfed. So it doesn't really matter at this point. It did matter against the Darmanitan, I do believe. I do believe matter against Darmanitan. So it did help. So he goes in for a skull, trying to get a burn. But I don't think he realizes that I'm scarred. I don't know why he went for skull, but he would have easily went for leech life. But I do go for another Draco. I was hoping for a crit or something. But I do take another special attack drop. I don't even think a crit would have killed in that instance, but again, grass is always greener on the other side. He does land a crit here, however, he does land a crit on that leech life. So he does get a lot of HP back, but he will take another Draco. Not too much, though. It does about, not enough, but he does go for another leech life, which is going to end up, unfortunately, kill Hydreigon. So it's down to 1v1, Magnezone versus Arachnoid. So, yes, I do have the type advantage in water, but he does have over 50% health. I have a Thunderbolt that's supposed to do more than that. Will it be enough, though? 27 HP on a Magnezone. We gotta give ourselves a chance. We go for Thunderbolt, and is it enough to kill? Yes, it is, and the Waterloo Sawsbucks will come out with the W, with a 1-0 W against the Tampa Bay Luxrays. One heck of a match. I hope this ends up being game of the week. Honest to God, it was that good of a match. And GG to Ryan, TheXseption, aka the Tampa Bay coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays. And we are now 2-6. We are now 2-6, and man, it just feels good to win, honestly. But this match, man, I can't tell you how good that felt to just come out and get a win like this, and against a pretty good team as well, against a pretty good player as well. You know, TheXseption is a really good battler. He put up one heck of a fight, and we got ourselves a very solid win, a win that we desperately needed in order to try and establish ourselves. We've won 2 of our last 3, guys. We have a bit of a winning swagger upon us now, so it just makes me feel good that we have ourselves. We've won 2 out of 3. It's a good feeling. It really is. So we're gonna get ready for next week's match, and I can't wait to give you guys that battle either. So until then, my name is Sin. Peace out.